Welcome back to Hello Nigeria. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's time for us to address something relevant to the International Day of the Girl Child. Now, today we are going to be looking into teenage pregnancies, and a young man named Emeka Chukwuleta, who just put out a film regarding teenage pregnancies, is here with Oliver and I to tell us all about the film and exactly what made him or led him in this direction, as a matter of fact. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest for the day. Thank you so much for joining us, Emeka.
Thank you so much, Leila. Thank you so much, Olive.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How
All
you
right.
doing?
Happy International Day of the Girl Child.
Oh,
now,
yes.
it became your celebration the moment you decided to do something about it.
Yeah.
So what spurred you to decide to do a short film? The name of your film is Mercy. So what inspired you to do that film?
So I served in a community called Ugeb in Cross River State, all right? And then on some days I'll come to class and then I'll meet a set of girls. On some other days I will not meet the same persons that I met the first time. I started asking questions like, what's happening here, all right? Because these girls were very inconsistent, in coming to class and all of that. In all my question asking and all of that, I found out that there is a serious problem in that community, which is teenage pregnancy, okay? So what happened is that I decided I was going to make a film about it. I was going to address it the way I could, all right? I wanted my voice to reach out to as many as I could. And one way I knew to do it is make films, all right? So what happened is I made a film around teenage pregnancy, and then I projected it to the girls in the community. So that was what really inspired it, teenage pregnancy.
And tell us a bit more about the film. What is the storyline behind this film?
It was inspired by one of my students, actually. All right, so this girl didn't come to class for after about a week or so, and I was asking questions about her, and nobody seemed to know anything about her. I wouldn't call her name. But then it happened that people would be making jest of her. That's her classmates and everyone. They were making jest of her. They're like, Copper, don't ask about that girl, this one and that one. So I followed up on the story. I went to her house, and I found out that this girl was pregnant with child. Very unfortunate.
How old was she?
How old? 14. 14. Okay, so I dug up on the story, and I realized that it's a prominent issue in the society. Okay, and they have come to accept it as a culture. If you speak with the elderly ones in that society, they're like, so what about it? In fact, some will go as far as telling you that it's good for them to have as many children as possible for farm work and the likes. Now imagine such a situation. How
terrible or how bad is this teenage pregnancy eaten into Ugeb, where you served? Would you say that it's something that had become like a culture, or something that had a cultural base? And who was impregnating these girls? Their mates or their father's mates? Because we have in some communities where it's allowed, once you're about 14, 15, you can marry someone as old as your father. Or would you say it's mistakes or carelessness on the part of the girls who are just getting into new relationships? In your investigation, what did you find?
Okay, first of all, it's a very prominent issue, all right? I spoke to a doctor, a practicing doctor in the community, and he told me that the average 14-year-old I'm seeing on the street has had at least four abortions. Now, I know that's like a base statistics, all right? But then it's something that got me really worried, okay? Every of these girls, they are pushed either by their parents or their elderly ones to have abortions. If they're going to keep the children, it is because of their own will, all right? And that's how bad it is. And now it is happening that they're being impregnated by girls, by their male counterparts, like their age mates, all right, ranging from like 17 to even older folks. Yeah.
Okay. And unfortunately, what we also know in society, at least in Nigerian society, is that abortion is also criminalized. Now, the effects of knowing that you're going through with an act that is criminalized in society has a serious effect as well on your mental health. Yesterday was World Mental Health Day, so let's tie that into this discussion as well. With all the research that you carried out, what effects did you see this having on the mental health of the girls that you featured?
It's terrible, Leila, trust me. First of all, these guys they cannot continue with their education any longer, all right? They have to deal with being a mother at 12, 13, 14. What does a girl know about raising a child? And then they have to face stigmatization. Imagine all of these things. So you're talking about criminalizing abortion. Trust me, the realities of our urban society is not the same for our rural society. We know all of these things, fine and good. Well, how about those guys in the rural community? How much of this information do they have access to? All right.
That's
although it's not like it's in the actual hospitals where they carry out these abortions, but they have the contact of a lady or some auntie that does abortion almost freely. Wow. Do you understand? So they don't have to look for someone that will carry out the abortion for them.
So it's easily accessible.
Very easily accessible.
Beyond focusing on the girl child, even though at the end of the day, she's at the weaker end of the stick because she's the one that has to bear the brunt of what is happening. How about the boys? Who's talking to the boys? Who's telling them that
Okay, so now the problem is this.
Girls?
The problem is this. This is like a cycle, all right? Say, for example, a 12-year-old gets pregnant. She has to raise a child, okay? What does she know about childbearing? She has to raise a boy. What values is she instilling in that child? So what does the child grow up to know? What does he grow up to learn? So that orientation is there hanging around the air of that society. So what's happening to these boys? It is that the culture has been imbibed so much in them and it has become almost normal. All right, so there is no one to raise these kids properly. So it's eating into the boys, it's eating into the men, it's eating into the girls. So it's a deep societal problem. It's a very serious societal problem. And I think it also boils down to the fact that there is no one to properly cater for these children. Someone is raised by a 12-year-old. Come on, what do you expect?
Very true. And Emeka, of course, it's a very disturbing issue to touch on. What would you say is the way forward?
First of all, I think a reorientation of, these communities and all of that. I like that there are a lot of NGOs that are carrying out awareness schemes in the country, but they're mostly focused on Lagos. They're mostly focused on Port Harcourt. They're mostly focused on Abuja. All right, a friend of mine reached out to me recently and was telling me about how that she wanted to start, a movement to stop violence against women. I said, fine and good, beautiful. But if you have the funds, could you take it to the rural communities?
Yeah.
Let's take it there. Let's take this good news to these guys.
And I'm really glad that you started this with your film. And thank you very much for doing this, because I would never have known that that's happening in Cross River, because I'm here in Lagos. But you've helped us to see what's happening in other parts of Nigeria. Before we let you go, let's talk about the film. Where was the film? When was it shot? Where was it shot? And how did you get your characters?
Oh, so the film was shot sometime in November 2016. The first script was locked down in sometime around June, but that was at the peak of recession, so there was no funds, really. All right, so I reached out to friends and families and said, look, you know what, guys, let's just put together the little you can. If it's 2,000 naira, put it together, let's make this film. I put together core members, and I taught my friends, this is how to use the Zoom recorder. This is how to use it, this is how to use that. I'm telling you, outside of a friend of mine that had to come all the way from Lagos, Somto Onobogu, to shoot, that he was the only one that had some kind of experience in film. The rest of the crew were all core members. From the assistant director. Yeah, because the story is more important than getting technicalities right. Trust me.
But that is also amazing to know that you can actually make use of the resources that you have around you. You're maximizing the potential of the people.
True. So basically, were you the ones that trained everybody who shot the film? Wow, that's brilliant. Not only have you told the story, Emeka, you've also equipped people. There's some people who would have found purpose from this film because they realize that they have a flair for film. How can people get to see the full film? It's on YouTube, right?
Yes, so the film premiered on YouTube yesterday in commemoration of the International Day of the Girl Child. So for me, I wanted to spark a conversation. I wanted people to use this day to watch the film and then, have some kind of thinking and some thought into what the realities of some of the people outside of Lagos, outside of Port Harcourt, outside of Abuja. What is happening in Bayelsa? I mean, I learned today about the whole numbers of the statistics of girls in Bayelsa that are given away into early marriages. One of every two girl under 18 is being given off into early marriage.
Yeah.
We only focus on the north.
Look at that number.
We don't think it's happening.
Look at that number.
Absolutely.
It's very saddening.
It is saddening, but you know what? People like you are here and you're playing your role and you're enacting the necessary changes that we need to see. Emeka, thank you so much for joining us on Set Say. How can people also contact you on social media? Okay, so my Instagram handle is @Emeka Chukwuleta. Same for Twitter. Okay. Yes. Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Emeka. Thank you so much.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.